everybody, Madison here with Health by Ratio. Welcome to this week's live video. We are talking about knee injuries and knee pains. In particular, we are going to address the hip and the ankle because often with knee pains and knee injuries, the knee and the ankle is the culprit. And so you know who the heck I am and what we do. My team and I of physical therapists and orthopedic movement specialists and corrective exercise specialists, functional health coaches, all the above, we work together as a team to help our clients with a 100% online program in correcting their bodies away from chronic pains and injuries. And then we also guide them on the fitness and activity side to having them get stronger and more functional and more fluid as an athlete so that those injuries don't come back and don't impact them further with whatever activities they enjoy. And a very common thing that we're working with our clients on is knee-related pains and injuries. Like I was thinking about examples of this before I jumped onto this video call, and I there was dozens that popped into my head from all walks of life that where we had clients come to us with one of their main reasons, if not the main reason, was due to a knee pain or knee injury that they were recovering from. This was everything from like meniscus injuries that like needed surgical repair, full knee replacements, to ACL, MCL, Patellar related tears and injuries, and all the above. And so we work with a lot of clients that are dealing with chronic pains and also undiagnosed stuff, things that are like, man, this thing hurts all the time, but I don't know where it's coming from, and I can't tell what really tweaks this thing. Very, very common issues, like clients right now that we're helping recover through knee pains and they're doing really, really well. Our clients like Caroline and clients like Maria, that are both just active individuals that like to train and be more fit and go take like long walks and hikes and that kind of stuff. And the knee was irritated for so long. Now it's feeling a heck of a lot better, and they're able to enjoy their exercise, their boot camp classes, and also be able to get outdoors and get some vitamin D and be active with their dogs and fans and friends and family and all that good stuff. And then to clients like Max, who's a really aggressive mountain bike rider, or Nell, who dealing with some pain around her perennial and correcting it through her hips and knees as a runner, as well as I'm trying to just think of like other examples of people. Anyway, we get the point. A lot of people deal with knee pains and injuries. Everything. Our tennis players. Oh my gosh, so many. I could list off a million of them. But so many of our athletes and our avid worker outers, or even just people that like to walk and hike a lot, we have these knee issues and knee pains. And how we help people solve them is very rarely by just treating the knee. We do some stuff around the knee itself to help it. Like it is, if you want like some quick and easy effects to help this thing feel a little bit better, get out a foam roller and roll out right above this knee, right around it, and right back underneath this thing around your calf. You're probably going to find some good hurt so good gunk, especially in this kind of 6-inch window right above the top of the leg, and especially in this inner thigh, this adductor right above the knee. If you got knee injuries, this area right in here is often really gunked up, really tight. So releasing that goes a long way. And then underneath that, your high calf, your high gastroc, and all heads of it go a long way. Like the inside head, sometimes that has a lot of gunk. Sometimes it's right behind it. Sometimes it's a little bit more to the outside head, but you got to kind of hit all those spots and find where those trigger points are that you need to release. That goes a long way in helping this knee get a little bit more mobility and not get yanked on so much, and all that's great. But ultimately, the knee's stability is not due to the knee. The knee's stability is due to the joints above and below. It's the hip and it's the ankle complex. And the things that happen there are often what cause this knee to have troubles. And now, there's a number of things that can happen here, and they can come from a lot of different places. Like things in your shoulders can be impacting your core, they can be impacting your hips, and that's what's impacting your knee. But ultimately, the broad kind of strokes thing that impacts most knee injuries the most prevalently is lack of glute activation, and normally it's lack of glute medius activation. So the outside portion of your butt isn't firing very well when you're walking and when you're running and when you're jumping and that kind of stuff. And when this thing doesn't fire, what its job is to do is to move this hip and this leg out to the side. Or it's to fight the leg from going to the inside. So you can think of it as its job is to either proactively move the leg that way, or it's to fight it going the other direction. And if this thing doesn't fire very well, then it's very easy for this knee to buckle in and go into what's called knee valgus. And we see this often show up in lunge patterns like crazy, which we care about lunge patterns, this kind of emotion going in and out of this position, because we do this like 10,000 times a day. We get into this split stance, not a lunge, but we do a split stance every time we walk. So we care about that position. And if when we go with 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, if there's some stuff going on in your hip flexors in particular, and some stuff going on around the core that is pulling on this pelvis in a certain way, then the glute medius can't fire very well. And now, as you lunge, what you'll end up seeing is as you go down, the knee doesn't stay in line with the mid to outside of the foot. That's where the knee wants to sit. It wants to kind of be in line with my ring toe here, and then come to the kneecap, and then that's going right in line with my hip. This whole kind of side of the leg right here is nice and straight and flat. That won't happen. What's going to happen is it's going to buckle in, and the knee is going to angle more toward my big toe as I go in and out. So instead of being out here, it's going to be in here. And then we're going to see this slight little angle inward at that knee. That's called knee valgus, and that's stemming, in part at least, from this lack of glute medius engaging and then that knee buckling in. Now, the other thing that can happen, though, is from the ankles, because many of us have really tight ankles. We have like a lot of activities like running, hiking, jumping, all that kind of stuff. We do all this pounding of the feet down into the ground. We don't do a whole lot of pulling of the toes up. And so we start missing this range of motion of being able to pull our toes up. We start getting really tight calves, gastrocnemius, really tight calf muscles, really tight soleus, that's like the calves mini-me. Then we'll start getting a really tight Achilles. And we'll also start getting some tightness in that plantar fascia line. So often knee pain has to do, like we'll also have some plantar fasciitis kind of symptoms as well. So this whole bottom side of the foot and back side of the ankle gets really tight. So it's not able to get into this position as easily. So if we think about that walking pattern, as I'm stepping forward, every time I step forward, this trail leg, for just a brief second, goes into that stretch. And then I step, and then the next leg goes into that stretch, and then I step. So in that moment of me walking, if I don't have that range of motion to get here, then how my foot compensates is it'll turn out a little bit to the side. And as I am stepping and this foot is starting to turn out, and it can be subtle, like it doesn't have to be like a big like sideways walk completely like this, but a subtle turnout of maybe 10 degrees each time you step. What happens is the toe is pointed out to the side while the knee is trying to track straight ahead. So relatively speaking, in this moment, my knee is collapsing inside of that big toe as I step through. It's the same thing as when I was lunging, and because of this glute, my foot's pointed straight ahead, and because of this lack of glute activation, my knee buckles in relative to the big toe. Well, it's happening in the same position, but it's the same thing's happening to the knee relative to the big toe, but this time it's happening because of my ankle. And often, both of those two things are happening simultaneously. So we're not getting very good glute activation, and we have that foot turning out a little bit. So every time we're stepping, hiking, walking, running, all that kind of stuff, we have these little tendencies for this thing to buckle in and get irritated. And that's why so many of the clients that we work with prior to us, they've been dealing with knee pains and knee injuries for years, if not decades, and they haven't gone away because they've done all the treatment around the knee. They know all the exercise they should do around this knee, but it's not getting to where they want it to go because we're not addressing the dysfunctions that are at the glute and core complex here that are affecting it from the top down, and we're not doing the work around the feet and the ankles to free that guy up and stabilize it correctly to help the knee from the bottom up. So that's really the ultimate thing, is if we can get that ankle to free up a little bit and teach it how to line up again so that it doesn't turn out. And by the way, if you guys are dealing with knee pain, I talk to people all the time where I'm like, hey, over the phone, before we meet up over a video assessment, I'm chatting with someone and asking them what their deal is. and they'll start mentioning knee pain, and I might start talking, oh, well, maybe your feet are turning out. I look forward to seeing how you move, and we can test all this stuff, and good. And a lot of times people will be adamant, like, no, I keep my feet straight. Like, I used to turn my feet out. I'm super conscious of it. They never turn out. I will challenge you, get your phone out, put it into selfie mode, and put it on your floor, and just prop it up against a water bottle and hit record, and walk away from it. And I will be shocked if your feet don't actually turn out a little bit. Test it, see it, verify it, because if you do it just off of feel, I can speak from personal experience. My left foot does actually track straight ahead when I walk. My right foot, especially if I don't pay attention to it, it turns out to the side. This actually stems from years of skateboarding as a kid, because of how you kind of stand on a skateboard, you turn the foot out. It's kind of dumb, but either way, that was an ingrained pattern in me. And so my right foot often turns out quite a bit more to the side. And coincidentally, my right knee has been more of my problem child than my left knee over the years. I wonder why. So I have to be very conscious about keeping this thing pointed straight ahead. And I used to think I did. And then I actually checked my walking gait, and I was like, man, even when I think I'm walking straight, this foot is still turned down a little bit to the side. I'm not driving off of it straight forward and straight back. Check it. See yourself. Watch yourself in your own video, and you'll be able to verify, is my foot actually straight, or am I turning out? Is this something that's potentially aggravating that knee? And if that's the case, then we can actually at least have a little bit of ease about where this knee pain is coming from, because now at least you start to see, there's a reason behind it. Oh, my foot's doing that. Okay, so how do I fix that foot? What can I do to get that thing to line up so this knee can stay stable and this knee can stay happy? Or if it's stemming from the glutes or a combination of the two, same thing. Okay, the glutes aren't firing. Well, why aren't they firing? What's pulling on them that's causing them to not fire? And what's overcompensating that's contributing to that? And so now, how do we relax those areas that are pulling us the wrong way? And then how do I best strengthen this glute and teach it how to fire functionally so that my knee can stay in alignment? And then this thing is staying really happy. So that's what we do with our clients. That's how we're able to get to them to where they want to be. And now we help all people, everybody, whether they're a client of ours or not, for free. And so if it's something that you guys are dealing with and you're interested in, like, yeah, this sounds like I've been dealing with some knee pain or whatever pain it is for a while, and I keep treating it and I keep treating it and I keep treating it, and it'll feel better for a little bit and then it comes back. Well, that's why we have our free assessment calls. Like I said, we'll connect with you over a phone call first. It's normally a quick 20-30 minute call, and it's free. We just chat with you. We want to get on the same page with what your body's been through and what your goals are and all that good stuff. And then we do another free video call where you and I connect over a video assessment to see how this body moves. I want to see how you walk and how you squat and how you lunge and how you hip hinge, and take a look at some nitty-gritty range of motion assessments. And on that call, we determine not only how your body's moving, but why it's doing what it's doing. And then we literally create a game plan together on what you can do yourself, take it on your own, on getting this thing moving back to full range of stable motion. It's something that we help everybody out with. We're really passionate about this. So if you want some help, we're going to include the link to our calendar. Feel free to click on that thing. You can pick a day and time that works best for you, and we look forward to helping you. And if not, that's totally fine too. But if you have some other questions that maybe you want us to talk about on other lives or other week topics and that kind of stuff, you can also chat and just comment below this video and type in there, and we'd be more than happy to cover other questions that you might have on other parts of the body and all that good stuff. So guys, that's my breakdown of the knee and why the ankles and the hips are often the root cause. It causes this knee to buckle in and to go in. The fancy word for this is called knee valgus. Knee hates this position. This causes all this kind of shearing to that knee. Every time it drives in there, we get this pressure and all those connective tissues in there. We want it to stay stable out here, not keep getting this pressure in here, buckling inward. So if we can resolve that, that resolves all the tweaks that keep this tension alive and keep this swelling alive, and actually allows it to calm down and heal and repair a little bit. So outside of that, guys, have a great day. Look forward to catching up with you next time.